Hello, BookTube. On Monday, I talked a little bit about my manga collection and how, over the past few months, the bulk of my monthly book hauls have been manga volumes. But as I accomplish those goals I set for myself when I restarted my manga collection, and over the past few months, as so much of my hauls and so many of the volumes that have come into my library have been manga, the momentum to continue or like to collect manga as heavily as I have is dissipating a bit. It will probably come back as these things do. Because I think last year there was a similar lull before I really got back into the groove for manga. So it will likely happen again. But for the past few weeks, I've been on a history kick, um, probably to the point where I will fill up the history wall, which is this wall, the wall of books that starts right here, by the end of the year. I'm pretty sure. Looking at my August haul right now, I'm pretty sure I'll probably get to, like, I'll have a shelf and a half left. And then next month is going to be very heavy history, so probably by the end of the year, I won't have any more space on the history wall left. Which brings me to a discussion about my library, which is generally why I wanted to do to create an original tag dealing with the home library, which, as an aside, a lot of the questions I was going to ask in that tag, I think have already been asked in other library-oriented book tags, which I may actually do one of those at some point, but or like redo them if I've already done it. But anyway, getting back on purpose, back on track. Um, so I've been thinking the last few weeks that I wanted to expand the history wall, probably making it the history L. Um, because what I would do would be to expand the history wall to this space here, which is currently occupied by a bookcase that my brother made a few years ago before I was on BookTube. I think it was the same. I think it was like a few months later I first started making videos. But say I've had it for a few years. It worked at the time, but it's shoddy. I mean, obviously it is quite shoddy. I mean, there's that and these two little whatever shelves they are, and this middle shelf here is wonky. It's not fully attached to the brackets, so it will warp. So I periodically have to flip the shelf to make sure it doesn't completely warp. So I've been thinking recently about trying again. Well, I mean, I periodically think about this, about trying to get as much bookish space in the space that I have as I can. And one of those methods of expansion is out in the hall. I have a little bit of space. So I have some bookcases out in the hall immediately in front of my bedroom. But there's a little bit of space left. And every time I see it from the living room, it irks me. So I want to try to get another bookcase there, but the space is actually so small I don't think I could do it. So I was thinking maybe at some point getting like a corner bookcase, but I don't know if that would be too big for that space. And then using those two bookcases once they're freed up in here, I don't know what I would do with the smaller of the two. I guess maybe I could try to replace my desk, but I don't know what I would do with the stuff that's already on it or how I would work my computer because I do like to sit at a desk when I'm on my computer. I don't really like to sit on my bed or have one of those um, lap tables. So, and I have been thinking about switching this bookcase out because, again, it is rather shoddy. And so I asked my brother this morning if he thought it could be like renovated or um, sort of a bit of some changes made to it, namely um, lowering these two shelves so that there's less space between them because they're a little big. I mean, you could get probably a few inches for both of them, and you could still get pretty much every book imaginable there. And then getting rid of these two, and then placing two, maybe three more longer shelves there. But he thought it would be too difficult. So I don't know what I'm going to do. I mean, the pressure to really add any more bookcases isn't that major right now because I do have two completely free bookcases. It's just how I have my library organized. It's a bit of a pain because I mean my collection is sort of split, um, and so it's kind of like what to do with those two bookcases where they're kind of separated from what could take the overage. So I don't know. I'll work on it and probably report back because I do like talking about my library and what I would like to do with my library. Um, but also, but then also, if I did expand the history wall, what would I do with the literature section, which is currently what the books that are on that bookcase? And then that's sort of like, okay, well, what all else gets moved? So it would be a thing. Um, but a lot of the momentum for history has kind of actually dissipated. Normally, what ends up happening is I get super excited about something um, over the course of weeks or months, and then I don't have a very I guess it's like whatever book I'm reading at the moment, if it's in that subject or in that genre, and I don't quite get along with it for whatever reason, it sort of kills the momentum, and that's what's been happening the last few days. So I'm probably, as I walked back the manga wall, I'm probably walking back the history expansion, but I don't quite know for sure. But I do know that I need to have a really hard look at particularly the history wall and my science fiction and fantasy collection and decide what I want to do with them. Or um, to really sort of prune so that if I want to, I can add more. And that's something that I'll need. And I also want to reorganize them, but I'm not entirely sure how to do either one. Because I know I want the science fiction and fantasy that I want to keep to be the ones that are out in the hall because those are the nicer bookcases um, that I have dedicated for science fiction and fantasy. And the history wall, I really want to organize it by subject and time period. But I don't quite know if that would work because of the sizes of the books and all of that. So I need to really work on that. Um, but yeah, I'm pretty sure I will eventually figure out what I want to do and really get this library space of mine um, how I want it. Although probably when I do that, I will end up moving more than likely. It sometimes happens, but anyway. Okay, so I think that's all I've got for right now. I will be back tomorrow with weekly reads. I don't know if I will be back with a video before then. Um, If I finish the book that I'm working on right now, I might do an early weekly reads and then forego a later video, or I might just stick with my usual late weekly reads and do some kind of video before then. I don't know what though. I've been thinking maybe I could try um, like a mix of just do like a favorites video where I talk about some favorites of mine, whether I have them or not, um, which could be interesting, those sort of tangents. Or maybe try to put up an original tag, which is not coming as well as I had hoped. I'm getting kind of annoyed by that. But a new booktube is all I got for now. So thank you. Have a great afternoon and stay safe.